We're learning today Chulin das Samach Dalet. We start das Samach Gimel on the base in the bottom. So Gemara Torah Rabbanon. Loichim beitzim min ha'orei chovim b'chol mokum. You could take eggs from a goy every place. Ve'ein choshishim loy mishum nevelos v'loy mishum treifus. You're not choshesh that it's coming from a dead bird or a bird which was treifel. So treifel we have always a chazaka. And by nevela, we'll see in a moment, we'll see a little bit of the rise of the Gemara, but in general, we're not choshesh. Says the Gemara, "V'dimu doif tomeninu." You're not choshesh that it's a dead animal. You're not choshesh that it's an animal that is treiful, but maybe it's doif tomen. How do you know it's coming from a kosher bird? Says the Gemara, "Ma'avu d'shmuel lo'imer shel oif ploini tohor." He says we talk about this specific bird. It's the chicken. He's pointing out to a specific bird, a certain type of bird, it's coming from that bird. So that bird, you trust the guy for that point, tell you that it's a oif kosher. Says the Gemara, why do you have to say so much? He could just say, you should know it's coming from a kosher bird. So the Gemara, it's easy for him to say, yeah, well, I meant, he calls it a kosher bird. What about, is that the bird? No, it's a bird. It's similar to that, we mentioned before. There's so many birds that you get mixed up with. As Rashi pointed out 2 blot ago, that you have to have a mesoyus. So if he doesn't tell you which bird it is, who knows? Maybe he thinks it's kosher. It's Torah, it's not Torah. Says the Gemara, why don't you check the simonim of the eggs? The Tanya. There's a brayso. It says, simoni beitzim kach simone dogim. The eggs, the same simonim you have by eggs, you have by fish as well. So the simoni dogim, it's like eggs and fish are not exactly the same. So it's not because we know what the simoni by fish is. It's you have to have a scale in figs over there. Meaning it's fish eggs. It's called ubore dogim, which when they're connected, they have a similar simonim like regular eggs. So we see from here the simonim to beitzim. That's all we see for now. Now, what is the simonim for the beitzim? Elum simonim beitzim kol shekrideres ve'agalgoilis. So Rashi explains the kadoris ve'agalgoilis just gives you the definition of a ball, because agalgoilis means that it's circle, it's round, and kadoris means it has thickness to it. It's not just a flat circle. It has some thickness to it. So Rashi really tells us that it has a shape of a ball. Ball, meaning it's round and circular, and it gives the shape of a ball, but it's not a regular ball. Elo roisha achad kad veroisha echad chat, which means one side is a little sharper, and more oval, and the other side is more flat. So chad means that it's sharp, and kad means that it's more flat, like a kad, like a jar. So it's chad and kad. Meaning, if you think about our eggs, that's what it looks like. The eggs it's in the bottom of the egg is a little flatter. The circle is. Yeah. But Rashi, if you look at the kad, Rashi says palto belaz, sheinoi chad ela kekad. So it's like a plate, like it's more flat. The other side is sharper. So that's the simon of the egg. So if it's reish echad kad, reish echad chad tohoyu. Beis Risheo Kadim, if both sides are flat, or Beis Risheo Kadim, or both sides are sharp, or more at an angle, to me, then it's a tom. Chelboin mibachutz, v'chelmoin mibachutz, mibifnim. So chelboin is the white of the egg. It's easy, and it's usually also in modern Hebrew. Chelboin is lashon cholav, like a milk. It's white, and chelmoin refers to the yolk, to the yellow. So if it's that white is out and the yellow's in, tell you, as our eggs are. But if it's the opposite, the white is inside and the yellow is outside, so then it's tveo. If they're all mixed up, it's not defined as yellow in the inside and white on the outside. So then you know it's not only a beitza tmeyo, it's beitza hasheretz. It's an egg of a sheretz, type of a worm, and as we'll see in the Gemara, there's enough kaminas if you treat it as a beitza tmeyo coming from a bird tame, or it's coming from a sheretz. So the Gemara is asking, I do have simonim, so what's the issue with a guy? Just look at the simon and we'll know what it is. Says the Gemara, it's cut. Says the Gemara, in other words, the first answer is I can't check the shape of the circle if it's more sharp or not sharp because it's cut. So the Gemara, so check the white and the yellow. The truth is bekar, they're mixed up. They're mixed. Now, are we allowed to buy from a goy mixed? If it's mixed, there's nothing to talk about. Why? That time the verse says, cannot sell an egg. You don't sell an egg of a treifa to a goy. Why? Because he may go and sell it to a yid. Unless it is mixed. I mean, it's when you mix the egg. Meaning, and therefore, in the Yerushalmi, there's a lot of times the question, what is the chicken, what is the egg? It was very fitting, chicken and the egg. Okay. So, first, you're not allowed to buy a beitza trufa from a goy. Why not? Why? So therefore, meaning, the way our Gemara says it, you're not allowed to mix. You sell to a goy only a mixed beitza. So therefore, you don't buy from an egg a mixed beitza. You sell to a goy a beitza which is a beitza streifa if it's mixed. So therefore, you can buy it from the goy, and it will work. So the opposite. And therefore, you don't buy it from a goy. Because you don't buy it from a goy, that's why you can sell it to the goy. So it goes both ends. Beitza trufa, if it's mixed, it's something that you're not allowed to buy from a goy. Therefore, it can be treif. So if we talk about if it's mixed up, so anyway, it will not. You can't buy it from a goy. So what is the Gemara telling us? The Gemara is saying, don't buy from a goy a beitza. So the Gemara look at the simonim. No, it's mixed the beitza, so you can't look at the simonim. If it's mixed, you can't buy it from anyway. Hello, simonim lav deraiso. In the case of eggs, simonim lav deraiso. You can't rely on these simonim. The Torah never gave you this simonim. Right? That's what it is. The ilu teimochi. How do Omer Avasi, we saw Le'el, shmoino sveikosem. There's 8 different birds. I don't know if they're kosher or not. Leave the gebeits if they do. Just check the eggs. The eggs will tell you if it's kosher or not. And Ashwamino, simonim lav deraiso. Simonim here or not deraiso. Tosis right away jumps up and says, referring here only to the eggs, not to any other simonim. Of course, the simonim of even a life, and the Gemara mentioned before the fish, of course, the simonim deraiso. If you just look at the top of the Tosis, simonim lav deraiso, Rashi says, Tosis says, oyo benutam dafka simoni beitzim shudeika doyev the dom leyoino of a simoni ubar dogim deraiso. Even the eggs of the fish, it's something you can be saying with deraiso. So it's specifically here. This is not the same discussion of Simonim Deraiso regarding an Elam Metzias. We're looking if Simonim Deraiso or not. It's a different discussion. So why are we giving you this Simonim if you cannot rely on the Simonim anyway? Says the Gemara, both sides of the eggs are either flat or both sides are sharp. Or you have the yellow of the yolk out and the white in. Then there's no suffix. I don't care what the guy says. You know for sure it's coming from oif tamim. Reish chad chad. Reish chad chad. One chad here is echod. Reish chad. The first chad means echod. Reish chad. One reish is chad is sharp. Reish chad. The other side is chad, which means it's flat. The chelmui b'chutz, and you have the white on the outside. The chelmui rifim and the yellow on the inside. If it tells you, it's coming from this specific bird, so you can rely on it. If I have the simoni and everything works out, so you can rely on it. But stam don't rely on it. How you have the simoni? Because the eggs of a oirev are similar to the eggs of a yoino. This we'll see also later. The Gemara is going to bring it. Lagabi the oirev and the eggs of the oirev, eggs of the yoino. That there's a lot of similarities, and I just mentioned yesterday that it's brought down. It's not stam that a oirev and a yoino look the same because the oirev represents Esav, and Esav always tries to look like he's the good one. He tries to say that I'm like Yaakov. That's why we know the Chazi also represents Esav, and the Chazi is showing split hooves. So he looks very much the same, but he's not the same. the oiriv has 2 simonim ksherim out of the 4. So he has many indications that he's kosher, but he's really not.
Is that the connection why those were both the birds that were sent down of the table?
Yeah, he wants to say, he doesn't say why. He says, so he ends, maybe Yavim, why the oiriv and the yoiner, they're both sent from the table. That's what they think about it. So Zog the Gemara, Omar, Chelmoin v'Chelmoin mu'rovim zeh b'zeh. If the white and yellow are mixed together, in other words, naturally, when you open the egg, you see it mixed. V'yadu she baits as a sheretz. You know it comes from a sheretz, not from oif. The mayachus, what's the mayach kamino? Omar avuko b'chama loimer lemeshim rikmo v'nikvo kadosho mitam mikadosho. Riko means they start growing some form to it. So if within the egg there's the egg of a sheretz. Within the egg of the sheretz, you have a sheretz trying to develop, and nikva, and there's a hole in the egg. So this sheretz causes tumah. What is the size of a tumah of a sheretz? The size of kadosha. It's the size of a pea. Different than a oif. That oif is only when you eat it. You're not going to have the same level of tumah. So I'm telling you, if you find an egg that has the mixture of the chelbon and chelbon, you know for sure it's a sheretz. And if it's a sheretz and it has a form, so then it will cause tumah.
Here, it's not the sheretz, it's the kadosh, it's the hole, isn't it? It's the hole that's the size of the
No.
It's a sheretz?
If the sheretz in the egg was rikmo, and the nikvo is it, right? The gears on the side, if you look, it's very similar. I think it makes a kamino over here, mitam the kadosh.
Oh, okay.
Then there's mitam if there is kadosh. I was wondering what was the din in the morning, what was this Indian of this Hagal? The Kadosha Mitam Mikadosha? But now that you're saying maybe that's if it's written the way it's written, so you can read it the way you read it. Rikwa v'nikwa v'kadosha Mitami. So Rikwa v'nikwa Mitam Mikadosha. No, so the right. Okay, I hear. Matko Ravino v'dilmo denochashi. Maybe it's a snake. Maybe it's not a sheretz. And then, meaning the fact that it's mixed up doesn't show you it's a sheretz and not a snake. A snake is not mitam mikadosha. So how do you know for sure it's mitam mikadosha? Hello, Marova Shim Rikmo ve'ochlo loika le mishum sheretz a sheretz alaretz. There's one thing which is common to a sheretz and to a nachash, and that is regarding achilo. Someone goes and eats a piece of sheretz or nachash. He's either on the issur of a sheretz alaretz, which means the small things that warm on the ground, right? They are very small on the ground. As Rashi mentions it in Chumash. That refers to a nachash and to a sheretz alike. So someone who eats it is over on that issur. Yachi my iryo the tmeyo I feel the Torah nabi. Says the Gemara, if so even if it's Torah, we have to say it's tmeyo the tanyo. Well, how do we know? Because it says kol sheretz, meaning even if it's starred, you don't have the issur of having a sheretz. You have a different issur. What's the issur? Tanya kol sheretz alaretz. When you have the issur the right, so sheretz alaretz. Sing what of samach hadal and beis le rabbois efrachim shalon yiftechu inayim. This we learned in the Gemara in Beitzah. If you have chicks that did not open their eyes, so then you're not allowed to eat it. It has the issur of sheretz alaretz. So even if it's a tardik egg, as long as the chicks didn't open their eyes, you're even the same issur. So what are you saying? You're saying, mind if Kamino, I want to buy an egg from a guy. That's where the sugya starts. So the one tells you if it doesn't have the simonim, we don't know what it is, it's maybe top. And you should know that if you open it up and it's mixed inside, the yolk, the white and the yellow mixed inside, you know it's a sheretz. Mind if Kamino if it's a sheretz? So the more says maybe because of tumah, it's like more of tumah that cannot be because maybe it's a tumah of a snake. So the more of Kamino is if you eat it. If you eat it and it has a form to it, so even a beitzah to'ayah, you have a problem. If I take an egg and I have a piece of the chick inside it, and he didn't open his eyes yet, you're able to share the sheretz alaretz. So I have to tell me that's a tumah. Says the Gemara, midirabanon v'koras v'achtabel. That issur of eating the efrechim is only in the rabbanon, and it's only a svachta b'almo. Rashi brings a blows of Yaakov that says it, and he's the one who adds that to this. So sheretz alaretz, but really it's not a din deraisa. So if you want to know a din deraisa, that's what I'm telling you, that it's a sheretz. If the yolk and the white are mixed up, you know it's a sheretz which have a deraisa for someone who eats it. Says the Gemara, Tana Abanon, Yule Beitzim Mutars. If you have a mixture of Beitzim, then it's mutter. And you don't have a problem of Taroivis. Rashi says, if you look at Rashi, Mutars Atoirim, the Mayo Be'al Mohu. It's only water. So if you have, maybe the Rashi before is also very important, you cooked a beit tzatveyo with the Torah, you can eat the tar if you know what it is, and you don't say you got a taste because it's maya balm, so it doesn't absorb. You don't have the te'ima of that you have when you usually mix food together. What? Yeah, out of the shell. Beitzim muzaris. What is beitzim muzaris? Beitzim muzaris means that they're not fertilized. Look at Rashi. Rashi says beitzim muzaris sheinim shel zocher ve'nifrech kolut behem lo'ilam. You never can create a chick. The Gemara tells us that if you're a bird, a chicken sits in it, so it just grows an egg that cannot become a frech. Now, why should that be a problem? So Rashi brings that when a chicken sits in it for a very long time, it becomes mos, becomes repulsive, and an istis doesn't want to eat it. So he made the beitzim muzaris nefesh yafa toichle. One who's doesn't care so much that it became maybe very, very. It becomes a little disgusting. He doesn't eat. He can eat it. Nimtza leya kordam. If you find a little bit of blood in the egg, zoyrik esadam voichel ashar. You can remove the blood and eat the rest. The kesher shelo means on the edge of the egg. Rashi goes on to say that maybe let's see Rashi inside v'ushim tzadam kesher shelo hu zera shel tanegoril hakashur beroish hakad shel beitzo. On the edge of the egg, you have there like the source, the beginning of the egg. Umesham yitzir seifroyach matchelas. Kevan da'adayin usham, if it's there on the edge. Lo nispaze b'shar beitzo. Did not go and mix up with the rest of the egg. Hikachoichel ashar. Aval nimtza al-chelon shelo. If you see it on the yolk, kula asur k'lefash tekamon. They show that tichlo b'kula nispate shakil kul b'kula. So if the blood went into the egg, so the egg becomes asur. But if the blood is only on the edge of the egg, so you say it's undeveloped, it's just in that area, you just take out that part of the blood.
Even if it's on the white.
One side of the white, the cod.
It says only goes on the film.
Yeah, because the side is usually the white. That edge is going to be the white. So again, you remove the blood. It's on the edge. This is really more unfair, so you say. It's on the white.
Kesher and chelban are two different things. Kesher is like the...
Right, look at Rashi. Rashi says la chelban. Rashi says ala kesher kedamar. So I mean, it's not the ayir. So you're saying we're leaving here open. What happens? The white of the egg, which is not the kesher, which is not the edge.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't. Okay. Try to. I think Traces maybe addressed something about that. Traces in the bottom. Okay, so Gemara says. It's on the yoke. I feel the beit asur. My taimo the shado tichlo bekulu, meaning it started to reuse already. The blood mixed up into the egg and becomes asur. Meaning there was a tano in front of Abaye. They said the opposite. He said that if it's nimtzol chelmoin on the chelmoin, so then it's a problem. On the chelboin, it's not. The Abaye the Abaye said no, you're wrong. Meaning if it has to be on the white in order for it not to be tradeful, not to have a tichlo. But if it's on the yellow, so then it becomes osir. Okay, so how do I know that an egg of a Talmudic bird is osir? Shenemar ves bas hayana. Interesting drasha of the Gemara. The bas hayana. What's a bas hayana? So in modern Hebrew, that's what you call the bird. Bas hayana. That's the What's it called, the bird? Ostrich. Ostrich is called in Hebrew Batyana. That's what they call it. So the Basyano, it's like more said the pasuk says it's about in the Oifas Asurim It says Basayano, Vesatachmos, Ashocho, Sanetsa Mineo. So this is Basayano, that's the name of the bird. It says the Gemara, no, Vechibas, that's what you think. The Gemara says no. Chibas Yeshlo Liano, because there's a daughter to the Yano. What do you mean the Basayano? What do you have? What's the Basayano? Is a Beitza Tmeo. Meaning we talk about the Bas, the daughter is the Yana itself. The daughter means the egg. Here's the Torah teaching you that the egg is also. Says the Gemara, maybe that's the name. It's called Basiano. Says the Gemara, L'Sakadaito, D'chtiv, Bas Ami Lachzor, Ki Ye'eni Bamidbar. My daughter, Bas Ami, my nation is cruel, like the ostrich in the desert, they call it Ye'eni. Lashon Yano, without a Basiano. Have ke Basiani. Says the Gemara, V'loi V'achtiv, V'esem Misped Kitanim. I'll do a hesped, like Tanim, like this animal, Ve'evil Kibnoisiano. So you call over here Bnoisiano. So here you see it's called Bnoisiano. Right? Says the Gemara, Kiyano Zu Shemisabels Albaner. What does Bnoisiano mean? Means the Yano, which is, that's the name of the bird, who's crying for his kids. That's the Basia. So that's what it means. Ve'evil Kibnoisiano. Kiyano, there's a misabel for the bonus. Ve'achtiv, Ve'shochnu Shom Bnoisiano. Says they will be there. That's where they're going to live. Will be empty, will be deserted, and people will be there. What it means, Bnoisiano, it's there. It's living there with their kids. It says I'll get covered for Chayas Asodeh Tanim Bnoisiano, and we're talking here. It's a loshon covered that they give it to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Meaning there's a shira. No, they sing the Kodesh Baruch Hu. If the Basiano is referring to the egg is not giving cover to Kodesh Baruch Hu. What?
Did the Ubers Veliam say shira also?
Yeah, but without the egg itself. It could be the thing in the egg. So you want to say that means the thing in the egg. Okay, maybe. And more understands the egg itself because it doesn't say shira. So the Gemara says you're right, like Ksivayano, Ksibasayano. You're right, really, the name could be Basiano. That's the name. In Akadami. Vishani Ocho, the Posek Sifro Lishnei Tevus. It's written in two different words. It's not written together. It would be the one name, it should be Basiano, it should be written together as one big word. Why it's called Basiano? The fact it's called Basiano tells you that you have your Joshua. When the Posek Lu Safro, without Samichem, without Betarti Tevus, two different words, Shramino, Trey Shemus, Trey Shemus, Bas, Yano. So really, the name could be Basiano. The name of the bird is Basiano. But the fact that it's written in two different words, it's giving you a drush to teach you about the egg. Says the Gemara, Ela Me'ato, according to you, is Kedar Lo'imer. The pasuk says, Shtem Zashano of Dus Kedar Lo'imer, and the word Kedar Lo'imer, which is the name of a king, is written in two different words. The pasuk is Sifra B'Trech and Meditarti Shmeininu. So you want to tell me it's two different names, Kedar and Lo'imer? The problem is, and this one is that in our Chumashim, it's not split. So how do you? Here you have a split. There's a places in a few places in Shas that's discusses if there is such a thing that he brings rayas the many times that the Gemara brings a girsa in the Torah that we don't have, which is a little, so surprising because one of the Yonim of Torah that this is a Torah Temuchlefis, but there's something that a few places in Shas that the Gemara tells us it's a stuma, psucha, the way things are written, if it's written the ksiv and the kri, and we don't have it this exact same way. So here's one example: Kedar Lo'imer is written as two words or not. Says the Gemara, you want to tell me it's two names because it's written in two words. Also b'shtei tevus pasaklu, b'shnei shitim loy pasaklu. Yes, Kedar Lo'imer can be written in two different words, but it will never be written in two different lines. Mashenken, but here, when you say Basiano, there's no halacha to put it in the same line. You can put it in two different lines. So that shows you that you're treating it as two different words. If it's one name, it should be written as one word. So from here, you have a makar that the egg is also an egg of a Basiano is also. There is a the Chulin bring over here something which is it's named the Rishonim, which is interesting in Indian that a Basiano how does the egg come out? So the Basiano needs to look at the egg. And the koyach of the ayin that he has, the koyach of the focus that he has with his eye, that breaks open the egg. And if it does not look at the egg, so then the egg does not hatch. And that's what it says. The same speak the passage before. It says, so what is the achzorius of Yein Bamidbar? It doesn't look at the egg. So it doesn't allow the egg to hatch. So you need the mother to look at the egg in order for the egg to hatch. That is the achzorius. So this doesn't look at it, doesn't like it, doesn't look at it, and that's what makes it this Indian of the koyach of the ayin of Basiano. The Kabbalah, you learn different things from it. That the eye has the power to give warmth to the Basiano. And this question is that it doesn't work with nature. It does not work with nature. But the Chulin discuss it over here. We'll stop over here. Yeah.